welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, this time around in English, as you may already have noticed. And today we are going to have 3 different games again, and that will be Xmas, Connect Future, Professional Driver, and Gangstar Story Underworld Vegas Crime Empire. My name is Gerald, and today is, what is it? I think the 21st of December, so this is the last episode before Christmas. And because of that, we are going to have a little bit of fun with at least one Christmas game, and the other ones are not Christmas themed or something, but I think, you will have enough Christmas themed stuff already, so you may even be a little bit happy about that. You're not going to have to cope with more of that. As always, I'm going to have different input devices, like for instance this Arc mouse, the Foldable keyboard, which is this keyboard here, and we are going to have the Xbox One as wireless controller in this episode too, with the last game, and so those are the input devices, of course. And as always, I'm using my Lumia 950 XL, which is a smartphone here with Windows 10 Mobile on it. At the back there is this Mozo cover, and it has a USB-C connector at the bottom, and with this USB-C connector I can create a connection between the smartphone and this display dock at the side here. The display dock itself is connected to the TV, and like that we can have this more or less desktop-like experience on the big screen from my smartphone. And if you want to know more about all of these, please have a look at the corner up there. And I would say, without further ado, let's have a look at the first game. And the first game is a pretty simple one in the end. It's Xmas Connect Future, and that is just another Mahjong game, more or less. I will go with my part here to my all apps list. There we are. And there is Christmas Connect Future. I will click on that and let's have a look at that. It's a really simple game. There are a couple of ads here, and in the end, if you like something Christmassy, then this might be a good choice for you. Otherwise, there are a couple of other themed, for instance, Mahjong games, which might be a nice addition to yourself too. Otherwise, let's have a look at the game. We can, for instance, restart the game or start where we left the last time, and that is a pretty nice feature for such a game. And we will have a look at the first game. Let's start from the beginning again. Those games are going to work in a pretty easy and simple to understand fashion. And that's more or less that you, for instance, want to have a connection between two of the same kind here. I will just turn down the music a little bit. So you want to have a connection with two of the same kind here, and like that you have, for instance, to click on both of them, and then they will, for instance, slide around this corner here and try to get to the other version. And the interesting thing is, or the most, the hardest, the most difficult thing is that you can only have two 90 degrees turns in there. So if you have a look at that, this would be too many, because you have to go this one, then 190 degree, again 190 degree, and again 90 degree turn, and like that it's not going to happen because we have 3 of them. But for instance, in this case we can of course connect just those together, and then you can see if they are the same, then they are going to be more or less get rid of, or they will just, I don't know, connect with each other or something. And like that, this is going to happen. And of course, you can slide around then in a different fashion, like this, for instance, or you can go with those now. And try to get rid of all the different cards here, and that is more or less the whole game. So, in the end, it's going to be harder and harder. So we are going to play levels, and we have a certain amount of time for each of the levels to complete. And of course it is going to be faster and harder to do in the additional levels. You don't have to wait for them to connect already, so you can be very fast with it too if you want to, and then just get everything connected here, and that will give you of course a couple of different points, and you will of course have a certain amount of time you had for that, and like that you're going to get more points for all the time that is left. And then just click on next level and you are going to play the same thing again, more or less, just with a different different order more or less, and you may have less time than before and stuff like that. But in the end it's pretty easy at the start. After a while it's not going to be that easy anymore. As you can see, you can go pretty fast if you want to do that. It's too much. Let's connect them first, and then those. Go to that one, go to that one, and now we have the next level already done too. Yeah, and this is more or less the game. So if you like that kind of game, so a little bit puzzly, a little bit about finding stuff, it's something like a combination of memory or something, and yeah, maybe, I don't know, something like Candy Crush. Not really. But in the end, it's a very, very slow-paced game. If you want to play it, just try it out. It might be a good thing before you are going to start with, I don't know, preparing your presents or something like that. Yeah, so let's have a look at the second game. The second game is a lot faster. It's called Professional Driver. And I'm going to go to my All Apps list again. Give me a sec. Professional Driver, so it is. And this is more or less all about driving those little very cute cars, if you ask me. And yeah, so let's get here, and as you can see, this is a small little car you already own, and you can, for instance, use the money you owned to upgrade it and do stuff like that. But if you don't want to, so as you can see here, we can have a look at that. So we can, for instance, boost the velocity, the turnability, and how good it brakes and stuff like that. And of course you can choose between different cars if you want to. For all of those you need a couple of thousand of those little coins here, and like that we have to drive with the first one till now, but we could already upgrade it. So I will do that. For instance, I will increase the velocity here a little bit, so it's a little bit faster now. And if you're ready with that, just click on the back button here and go to run. Auto is just the car, so not automatic or something, it's just car. And like that we can click there to go to the garage more or less and upgrade it, or we can just click on those part here which will start the game. Okay, let's do that. You have a couple of different play mode in this, so game mode, and in the end you can, for instance, play it with Einbahnverkehr. This means that all the cars are just driving in one direction. You can play with more or less two directions, so cars will drive down the road this way and this way. And then you can have some kind of a timer running, and you can have a daily challenge, which is just a special kind of game. Depending on what the daily challenge is, it can be pretty hard or it isn't hard, whatever. And in the end, I would like to show you the time part here, because the other ones are pretty slow paced, so you can really decide how fast you want to drive there and stuff like that. At the timer racing here, it's a little bit harder, and later on we might have a look at the daily challenge here, so we will have a look at that. First off, let's have a look at the game itself. The game itself will be played with the keyboard, so use the arrow keys to go, and as you can see, we can now move around with the arrow keys. We can speeden up everything, and we can do a break. And this is more or less what this game is all about. And after a while you will see a couple of other cars coming up. And of course, the higher the velocity is you are driving, the better for your points you are seeing at the top there. And of course, you want to have a certain you want to have a certain distance you're driving there. I'm not going to watch an advertisement. You can watch an advertisement afterwards then and go with that, or you just play along again. I will just restart this, and now let's have a look. So we have a little bit of fun with the driving here. It's a pretty nice thing to drive around. It's important that you're not going to hit the other cars, of course. That's all the game is all about. And in some situations that can be tricky, in others it's not. Be aware that, for instance, your mirrors so the back mirrors at the side of your car will more or less not break the game or not make it game over or something, but you might lose a couple of different points for that. And then there will be this little icon there which is telling you something is wrong, and oh, I have hit a police car. Oops. And like that, you can see what's happening here and what's going on here. There are a couple of close to crashes which might give you a little bit of money. There is a tempo bonus, which means that if you're driving faster than before or something, then you're going to get a little bit of money for that too. And of course, the distance itself will give you points too. And after that, you will get some kind of a rating, of course. And in the end, with this kind of coins, you can, for instance, upgrade your car and do stuff with it, as mentioned before. So let's have a look at the daily challenge in this case. In the end, everything else is more or less like that. And now let's have a look at the daily challenge. Today it seems to be just another timing attack game, more or less. But let's have a look what's going on here. And it's pretty hard, as you can see. Okay, that was bad, but something is going on here. Maybe I am allowed to drive. I think I have to kill a couple of cars in this case today. They're not really telling you what's going on. The only bad thing about that is that you're not going to have a lot of points, because the distance is not going to be extremely high. But as you can see, we can more or less drive along, even if we are hitting other cars. And again. And let's see what's going to be our points here. There was a nearly crash again. Yeah, and as you can see, you are getting more money if you're, for instance, driving on the other side of the road and stuff like that. But in the end, this is more or less a game. If you like to play such a game, please try it out. It's fast-paced enough, but not unfair or something. It's easy to play in the end. And you can drive around, get more points, get more money from that, and then try to upgrade your car to make it faster, to make it more drivable, more turnable and stuff like that. So just try it out, and if you like this kind of running game, this is more or less a nice one. It's of course more or less endless one if you are using the drive versions at this point. So this is an endless mode, this is an endless mode, this is of course not an endless mode, and this one can only be played once a day with this daily challenge stuff. And yeah, I hope you have fun with it, try it out, it's really fun to play. Well, then let's have a look at the last game today. And the last game is a pretty nice one if you ask me. It's a gangster story, Underworld Vegas Crime Empire, and what this is all about is more or less, it's a story game which is going to let you drive with a car in 3D. It's pretty nicely done. It reminds me a little bit of GTR or something, the first versions of course. It's not about hitting people at the start at the moment, or better to say yes, it is, but you are always in a car. And yeah, what the storyline is all about, I want to show you that. For that I will just click on that and go to Gangstar. Oh, right, there it is. It's written with an A, not an E or an I, not an I in this case, but whatever. Let's click on it, and this is a game you can play with the Xbox One as well as controller, and I will try to do that. And in the end, what is going on here is you're driving a car in 3D, and yeah, more or less the storyline itself. We will have a look at that by just going to the first one, so the report. And you are playing through different storylines here. I'm not even sure. Yeah, there would be a starting point here, of course. I have already clicked on that, so let's play it just in a very fast fashion. I will show you the start point there too. And as you can see, you have a car. And there are always this little small kind of discussions with somebody. So in the end, somebody is calling you and is telling you that there was a murderer or something, but you are not aware that there was one. But your child, so your daughter, has been killed before, and something is going on, and because of that you want to know what is happening there, and so you have a new little first job to do here. And the first job is pretty easy, you just have to drive over a policeman. So this is what I meant with, it's a little bit like GTA or something. But I will of course just move around to show you what is going on. In the end, you are not able to play this game without a mouse, but you can use the Xbox One as wireless controller additional to that. And here we are. And yeah, our first mission is more or less to get Mr. Inspector Miss, who is leaving the police office or something like that. And we want to drive over him more or less, so get the informations out of him which are more or less which he's more or less holding back about the murder of our child. So let's click on that and drive down to the location as shown in the map before 7:30 AM. So what you will see in a second is that there is going to be an hourglass more or less up there, and or a clock. And in this case we have a couple of minutes to drive to a certain location, then we have to hold there, wait for the person, and then we have to drive over him. But let's have a look how that is going. So, first off, you will have to have this little trick again. So just activate and deactivate your Xbox One as wireless controller if it has been a while that you did that, and after that you can just use the stick to drive, so press it up and then just go. And as you can see, we can drive in a pretty nice way. Very important at this game is that you are really not allowed to drive against anything. So even if it's a small little thing that is happening there, it's not going to let you drive over it or something, so just be aware of that. And of course you can use the brake and stuff like that to drive around. And in the minimap they are showing you where you have to drive. It's a pretty nice game, it has pretty nice graphics, a little bit of textures on the very low end side, but other than that, pretty nice. And be aware, we still have 2 minutes, about 2 minutes left to drive to the location, but we are already there. This is more or less the position where we need to go, and now we just need to stay here for a couple of seconds. I will just turn down the music a little bit. This is this inspector we have to drive over more or less, so we get our informations, and he's holding them back from us, so something is not quite alright with this guy. And you don't have to have a lot of speed or something, you just can drive over him, and then you can see our daughter has been killed by somebody who has choked her to death, and that's really not a nice way of doing it. And so let's have a look. Tap to continue. And now we are going to the second episode here. The second episode is the doctor. And in the second episode, we are going to have a look at what has happened there and what we have to do in this case. And in the end, these are the missions you have to play. There are a couple of them, and they are all telling you a little bit of a storyline about this daughter that has been killed, and you as a father want to find out what's happening there. And these are more or less levels. In the end, what's a little bit strange in this situation is there is no kind of other cars, more or less. At least none that are not part of the storyline. So in this case, we are trying to follow somebody. And now we are talking to somebody else who is getting all the information from us. We already gathered together at the moment. And yeah, it's not an accident, as they told you. It's not an accident this time around. And we will have to follow another car without the car being too far away from us and too close to us. And so we really need to go in a pretty nice fashion here and drive to a certain position, and after that our mission is to follow the other car. As you can see, as you can see, sorry for that, it's a pretty nice graphic at this moment, easy to play, at the start at least. After a while, especially if you have to drive after another car and stuff like that, you should have a little bit of experience with driving already. Not like what I am doing at the moment here. And yeah, otherwise, just drive to the certain position there and then just follow the other car in a certain distance. You will see what's happening there later on. So let's drive to that position first. If you find it hard to use the joystick in this case, you can of course always play with the other input devices, like for instance the on-screen parts or with the keyboard. All of them are fine. And then just stop here, wait for a second before this is run through. And now there's another car driving in front of you, and you will have to follow him in a certain distance. So don't try to drive on him or something. That's not going to work out, and we are going to be dead in a second, because you can see the distance is already pretty high. Let's see what's happening there, but I don't think we are able to get him yet. The moment it's going to go to the red part there, it's over. And other than that, just restart, play the game again, and try to follow the car around, and that is more or less what we are going to have to do here. But let's have a look at the main menu. There are a couple of typos and stuff like that in this game, but nothing really important. The main menu is more or less about the keyboard control or the touch control, so you can just switch them by clicking on this. I would of course suggest you to go with the keyboard controls in this case, and after that you can of course mute the game or just don't do it and then play it, and this is more or less all you have to do in the menu. And other than that, I would recommend you to try to get more of the storyline done here. It's, as I said before, a pretty nice game. I like the more or less a mix between driving around and doing stuff and this little storyline they are giving you. It's an interesting storyline, and I would recommend you to play it. And other than that, yeah, try it out. So, and this is more or less the end of this episode. I hope you had fun with it, and if so, please give it a thumbs up, of course. And of course, if you didn't subscribe till now, you might want to do that now. It's the button down below with the bell button next to it that might be of interest to you too. It's going to give you information when I upload new stuff if you hit that button. Otherwise, if you have any kind of comment, please write them in the commentary section below. And other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Have a nice Christmas Eve and stuff like that. We are going to see us close to Sylvester, I think, I'm not sure. So close to New Year's Eve. And in the end, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Have a nice day, have a nice week, have a nice holiday and a celebration, of course. And so, thanks for watching, bye bye, and see you soon.